One meeting saved us a lot of money and time.
May I ask what happened on that one meeting?
HVAC guy was so frustrated because he was sure that he fixed the clash. And he fixed the clash, but plumbing
Fix the clash
fixed it
also.
as well.
Ducts, they don't care about architecture. So
Yeah,
probably
no
we
one
have-
care about architecture. And architects don't care about anyone else. This is the main point why schedule always shifts.
I'm sorry for another framers doing that.
It's a huge disconnect between what is going on in the model and between the real conditions.
And it was the mistake we don't do anymore.
Life hack: if coordination meeting is 2 hours, that's bad coordination meeting.
Stop fixing work on the field that should have been fixed on the screen.
You know how in every project there's a never-ending back and forth between framers and BIM coordinators? Well, that's what we are going to talk about today.
This is our podcast, and today's topic is all about what happens in coordination. What works, what doesn't, and what makes us want to throw our computers out the window.
Today we've got the set of questions lined up. The things that people want to know about BIM coordinators and framers.
We'll go through the biggest misconception, the most frustrating moments, and the coordination fails that still make us laugh. And of course, we'll figure out how to make the whole process smoother.
Without losing our minds. Hi there, my name is Maria, and I've been working at New Vision Agency for almost 3 years, saving BIM projects, resolving construction issues before they go to the field.
And my name is Vlada. I'm also working at New Vision Agency on a little bit more than 3 years. And I've been working on more than 40 projects with wood and steel framing. Let's start with the basics. How do you each define your role in a project?
Based on my experience as a BIM coordinator, I see that my role is similar to a game master in Dungeons and Dragons, when I try to guide the team to the best possible outcome. Or probably it's more like playing chess, when I'm like a AI highlighting the path for each player's piece to keep the project moving forward.
Like a main person of Squid Game, you know?
Oh, I'm a Squid Gamer. I'm a Squid Game master. So I see that beyond project setup and running coordination
Meetings? I got it.
Okay. Coordination minutes. Yeah, beyond
hours.
Beyond running coordination meetings, I also try to give subcontractors as much as possible of technical support, because sometimes it's getting tough
Right.
for people who are not familiar with BIM or VDC. And one of the biggest challenges is filtering through the vast amount of design updates, information, like it's a big headache, and making sure that the right action reach the right people. So basically my role is to make sure that VDC runs smoothly and make sure that there are no delays on the field.
Yeah,
So,
sounds
yeah.
like a perfect project, you know.
All right. I haven't seen like it's 0 projects that run smoothly. All right.
Yeah,
we're
me
always
either.
we're always behind the schedule.
So, you know, you're just describing the perfect role of BIM coordinator. I'm the person who take this beautiful model together and make sure it can actually get built.
Sometimes not way too beautiful, but
Yeah, but it can actually be built.
yeah.
And you know, the one part of my role is just we take this design model and we are trying to put the stud in that model, and sometimes it's like total mess. So yeah, and actually we are doing that constructability report and making sure it can actually get built, because sometimes design is just I don't know.
Awful.
Yeah. Also, I think the one more important part of our role is just to put some priorities, probably, because you know, sometimes when we clash, sometimes when
It's
we
me.
see,
It's my job to clash.
sorry, I'm not taking your job. Yeah, so sometimes when we see the clash of duct and framing, probably it's not the end of the world, because we can actually, you know, add a few more extra studs or make additional soffit, kind of that, and it will be way cheaper than rerounding the duct. But if the duct has their own life above the ceiling, so it's kind of, still we need to talk about rounding the duct. So probably, I think my main part of framing job in BIM coordination, it's like when we can actually decide what's more important and decide how to fix that clash.
I have a funny story regarding the duct and opening clash, and we will talk about it later.
Okay.
That was your model.
Really? Oh my god. I feel bad about this. I'm sorry.
No.
It's actually our model. It's like I like to say, it's not only the reference model or design document. It's like the part of problem-solving tool when we can define clashes and make sure we find all the issues before they actually get to construction site. And our framing department likes to say, "Stop fixing work on the field that should have been fixed on the screen."
Yeah. So I have a question. You basically, when you put your stats in the design model, you on this stage already you see the clashes, right? Because something is not constructably correct.
Yeah, we can. It's the perfect scenario because when we have some models, sometimes we can work only with nothing, with drawings, and sometimes we can work with structural and architectural model. And if we have those model, there's typical scenario that we have. It's like they don't match each other.
I gotcha.
Yeah, so actually we see those clashes, but in coordination, we still wait for the first coordination meetings, and only then we can see the clashes with MEPF. But structural and architectural, we still, there's setup part of our job that we have, first few weeks of the project, we are defining all the misalignments between architectural and structural model.
Yeah, actually, the first MEPF clash starts after third coordination meeting, because first 3 meetings probably you just reviewing the design issues and structural misalignments.
Why don't designers do that?
They don't care.
What's the biggest misconception people have about your role?
That's actually funny. Mostly people think that BIM coordinators are running and assigning clashes.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting in Navisworks or in Procore, and for 10 hours I'm just doing clash detection. No. It's not that. While clash detection, it's actually a small part of the job, and clash detection can take probably up to a few hours. Besides finding clashes, I also try to do all of the needed support for the project, and BIM coordination, it's 24-hour support. You're diving deep into the design changes, design issues, trying to make sure that all project members are equipped with the latest information and everyone knows what to do.
So it's like you're a bridge between everyone.
Yeah,
like most part bridge,
Probably. I receive a lot of information, so I'm like a big filter, and
big filter.
big filter. I don't know how filter looks. Okay, never mind. And I'm
probably
and I'm just throwing the correct items to the correct team, guiding the support for each team. One more important thing that I always think about is schedule, because sometimes
sometimes it goes south. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it just goes south when you're behind the schedule, especially if you didn't notice it before at the start of coordination, and you see everything breaks out because of the schedule, and we just can't fit the coordination in that. So the biggest misconception is that I find clashes, but BIM coordination is actually about preventing clashes, not finding them.
Actually, can we say find clashes not actually in the model, but clashes between subcontractors, between field and
yes,
model?
That's actually more accurate, because clashes is not only what we see in the model and what BIM 360, for example, produces, so we can see those clashes. No, sometimes it starts at the design stage when we just doing an overlays, and we see design doesn't match at all. and the MEP system doesn't match at all. And at this stage, we already can make some corrections before they appear in the model because we see those on the drawings already.
Yeah, and probably that stage can also take a long time because,
Yeah.
I've seen some projects that are like, I don't know, ducts. They don't care about architecture. So
Yeah,
probably
no
we
one
have-
care about architecture. And architects don't care about anyone else.
Yeah.
And that's a big problem.
Yeah, that's actually true because sometimes the system they don't think they are like building in the office building or something like that, and they are like living their own lives.
Yeah, I think one of the hardest project types is health, probably because you have a lot of systems. And it's very hard to deal with architects where you just don't have needed space for systems.
Yeah, agree. And probably I would add one more difficult type of building is factory. Because, we have at factory, we always have these tall walls, tall ceilings, and there is everything about that. And they're like, I don't know, kind of different world about
Tall
the ceilings.
walls, tall ceilings, short ducts. What about you?
What
What's your
about me?
biggest misconception?
Yeah, probably, about framing job, there are a lot of misconceptions. Like, I've seen a lot of projects that just miss framing model. Because, they,
Usually, like 90%.
yeah, and I don't understand why. Because actually, the most of clashes, they are framing clashes because, yeah, because we have doors, we have these soffits, ducts, and no one cares about that. And that's probably the biggest issue that we have because, I don't know, and they, subcontractors, they decided to add framing when everything is coordinated. And then framing get into the model, and then we need to redoing something. Everything. Yeah.
Mistake. A big mistake. I remember one of the project was when GC asked that we should show all of the clashes with field studs.
Why?
I don't know.
I remember one project when we need to actually make openings for field stud, and I don't get why.
They just wanted to see all of the field stud clashes and coordinate field studs. I just
Yeah, but why?
You're a framer. Tell
Yeah,
me.
estimators never take it into account. It were just doing critical spot. Sounds like an extra work for me.
For me as well. They at the end of the day, they still put everything on field by themselves.
Yeah.
Like no one cares about framing model.
It's also I can't say it's correct because field stud, they actually, if I'm talking about framing construction, we have critical spots and we have field. And they are like, they can move and they can make opening. That's not a problem to fix on the model, to show in the model in coordination. But the problem is like when if we are omitting framing at all, and everything about the ceiling, soffits, it's my own pain. I don't know. So yeah, but I don't know, field stats, it's not necessary. Some framing models, they are even not showing field stats.
That was crazy because it was there was 5-story building with a lot of interiors and metal stud walls. And we had to do this like in 2 hours.
Wow.
That was hospital, actually.
Hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know, that's when they are just going through the wall, why do we need to put an opening here if we understand that this
Why
stats
do we
will
put the HVAC here? Like
Definitely. Let's remove all the HVAC from the building.
for framing, please.
The another point, I've seen a lot of coordination meetings when the trades or coordinators, they thought that framing can move around as they wish. So probably it's like a magic tool that they, I don't know, flexible and can shift like they want to. But actually, if you have ceiling, we need to support that ceiling somehow. And yeah, so probably we need to think about construction because framing, it's not just, I don't know, studs in the walls. It's actually construction part of the building.
Is it true that if you have critical framing in walls, for example, you can do the same layout but just rotate the studs so they can like release the MEPF system and avoid the clash?
Yeah. Sometimes, there are a lot of tricks like we can, I don't know, punch the hole in the stud or rotate the stud or even move header or jump. And sometimes even critical spots, they are not so critical because they can actually be shifted or adjusted. So yeah, we definitely need framing to account for it. But it's actually the game of, game of case, because sometimes we can do that and sometimes we can't. So yeah.
Well,
And it also depends on bearing wall or non-bearing wall, shear wall, or something like that.
what are the main rules of penetrating the stud, like doing the holes in the studs? Is it always allowed, or
Actually, if we're talking about metal studs,
yeah?
they all are done with holes in them.
I mean, like the extra holes for some systems for like small pressure plumbing
There is
pipes.
some exceptions,
Okay.
and there is some rules like maximum hole, minimum hole, and different for each type of building, each gauge of stud. If we're talking about wood studs, it's another rules. So yeah, it's kind of differs from project to project. What's one thing BIM coordinators do that drives you crazy? Oh, that's the question for me. So the first thing I would say is BIM XP. I like BIM
You
execution.
don't like my BIM XP?
I like your BIM XP. I don't like when BIM XP doesn't exist.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so I saw a lot of cases where just BIM XP plan, it exists somewhere, but we don't have access to that folders, or the BIM coordinator don't share it with us. And it's like, come on, I need to guess who's plumbing, who is HVAC. I need to guess where do I need to upload my files, how should I name them, or like I'm playing a detective game or something. So.
That's crazy. I can comment on that actually because my personal suggestion for BIM coordinators, I really don't understand why, if you're a BIM coordinator and you're giving the access to the subcontractors, you should give access on all folders.
Yeah.
And I noticed that this is a big problem throughout the different coordinations based on my experience. And while our team was as a subcontractor on some projects, that's a huge issue because people or just don't know how to give access correctly, or they just don't care about giving the whole access. And I'm not really sure what is the reason, like NDA, but come on, we're on construction, like we're subcontractors.
Yeah, I had a lot of cases where just you text the BIM coordinator, please give me access, and he just, okay, it provided, and I'm just, no, I still don't see that folders, and then again and again. So yeah, it's like, I just don't know why.
Yeah, I try to provide as much training as possible because access is kind of a tricky issue, especially on BIM 360, because you should give the admin access to a person and then you should give the particular folders access, and you should do this correctly. And sometimes, yeah, sometimes it can and give the access on the specific folder, and that's crazy.
Well, can I ask a question for you in
course.
that case? For example, isn't that, because I'm always asking myself why they don't do that, isn't it easy to just, if you have the trade, the subcontractors, you just provide admin access for one person from that trade, and then he or she, they share it with the internal team, because sometimes we're adding new members or something like that, where it's not a good idea.
Usually, we require 2 people from each team, each discipline. One person is responsible, and he or she taking care on all of the action items. And one member is responsible for modeling. So for the coordination meeting specifically, only one person would be enough, like a manager from a discipline. And the same thing for accesses for BIM 360 or something else. One person gets the full access, full admin access, and then he can add all the people he needs.
That's the scenario I would like,
Yeah, but usually for BIM XP, we try to additionally share those through email, just to make sure everyone have a local copy of the BIM XP. So that's a great action too.
Yeah, I would love every BIM coordinator share that. And okay, if we're talking, I have a few more actually items that drives me crazy sometimes on the project. Sometimes it's like silent model updates, when just trades or subcontractors, they are updating the model and nobody knows about that. And now we're working with, I don't know, for example, HVAC model, for
Mhm.
example. We are working with that, and then in 2 weeks, I just noticing all the dogs who have been around, and we were just make our framing through the outdated model. And I'm like, okay, I love wasting my time.
Yeah, as a BIM coordinator, that's really important thing for me as well, because this is the main point why schedule always shifts. And especially if you can track this. If you see that some people are trying to reroute themselves without noticing each other, I'll do like super big job after this to review the schedule and review how this reflects on our further action items. So yeah, it's very important to notice the coordinator and notice the team about your updates and about your reroutings,
Yeah,
especially after the sign off. We had some of those huge updates after the sign off, and that's crazy.
Seems like what's difficult to just make a quick heads up on that, because then you need to find that place that changes. So yeah, that's just strange. And probably another thing is like not understanding who should move. When sometimes I've seen clashes that was assigned to framing, but there was not actually framing clashes, for example. And if I'm missing one coordination meeting, for example, I see a list of items that are assigned to me, and I'm just filtering them. Come on, it's plumbing, it's electrical, it's HVAC issue, it's not framing. So sometimes people just don't care who should move. They just see clash. What's first I think about, I assign it to them. So yeah.
How about framers? Like, should they attend all of the coordination meetings from your perspective, for example? Because I think yes.
I would say so, actually, because sometimes, it's always easy to make a decision like quickly and not throwing them through like emails, different meeting or something. Because yeah, at least one person I think should be attending all of the meetings.
Nice.
Sometimes I see things that a lot of framing clashes assign it to like minor adjustments that are always like, cut top track a little bit or make a hole and start. And I'm just, why should I do this micromanage or something like that? Because it's like, it's really strange. We don't need to fix the clashes that just require 2 minutes on site or something like that. And it's not a clash. I don't think we need to fix that in the model. Maybe you think different.
I remember that on one project, someone asked why we are not doing the holes for penetrations in the model, like to avoid all of the clashes in Navisworks on BIM 360, and that was a bit strange question for me, and that was something new because first of all, that's very, very inappropriate work, I think, and it's super time consuming, and I don't really think that it's necessary because you just see the wall and you see the connections, you see how the systems go through the wall, and you can understand what is a clash and what is not a clash. And all of this small management things, I don't think that it's really important for the coordination because I don't know, it's like the high level of detail already, and for coordination, I just don't need it.
For me, it's like a way more time spent on placing that holes in the Revit model than just filter them during clash detection.
I have never seen any project with the holes for penetration, actually.
Yeah, me too. So that's a strange request, no?
Yeah, yeah, I think so. That's new request.
Okay, and the most painful spot for me probably is field coordinated stuff during coordination meeting. It's like when BIM coordinators threw everything to be fixed on field or something like that. And I'm just, come on, why you are doing BIM coordination to just, I don't know, through all of your clashes downstream?
I'll tell you why that happens. Because if you are running out of budget and out of schedule, sometimes you just need to stop the coordination and do the sign off as it is. And yeah, we saw a couple of those situations on different projects when you really have 2 coordination meetings to coordinate the whole level, and you don't have any time to fix everything. And what people do, what BIM coordinators do, or what subcontractors do, they just put field coordinated on each item. And from the other side, what's the point of BIM coordination then if you are not coordinating every item properly? I'm not saying that you should go through every small item in the model, but trying to coordinate the whole level, especially on the super complex buildings, I think it's impossible.
I got it. I had one project where it was completely off. All the clashes, they weren't fixed. They weren't coordinated. And then the model was signed off. I really didn't understand why. Now I get it. And probably the last thing drives me crazy sometimes. It's like endless coordination meetings. Sometimes I'm not against coordination meetings. They are great, they are helpful. But when there is a meeting when you're just fixing one single clash during 2 hours, it's like, what the spot?
Yeah, try to prepare the agenda for every coordination meeting, especially if you're a BIM coordinator, because the main problem, I think, is when you discussing one issue for the third coordination meeting in a row, and other subcontractors just don't know what they're doing on this coordination meeting.
Right. Yeah, and it's like, you were deciding that clash for 2 hours, then it's going to a next meeting, and then it's again 2 hours, and I'm just, what I'm doing here.
Or my favorite is one specific RFI. It
Yeah.
goes one meeting to another and for a month.
And right to the sign off, and it doesn't fix it in the end. Next question for you, Maria.
What drives me crazy? Actually, I don't have so much points as you had. I really respect FRAMER's job, and I'm super happy when framing is in the model and framing team.
It's not a common, just
Yeah. And I'm very happy when framing team attends the coordination, and because it's actually a big part and it resolves so much design issues that just couldn't been noticed if we don't have the framing team with us on board. So yeah, it's Vlada.
and the framing team.
I think the first thing that drives me crazy is when framers do the super quick on-site decisions, is what we discussed previously. And that's a big problem for the coordination in the future because it requires so much time to rework everything, especially if it entails huge design changes. You're just running through hundreds of change orders. And yeah, it's very important to inform the VDC team if you're doing some weird installations or sites or just anything that is not represented in the drawings.
Yeah, I gotcha. And my opinion on that, it's like probably spend or assign one meeting where you discussed what changes framing can do without notifying all of the members,
right.
because we also don't want to, bombing with the messages or something like that. But yeah, and some of the changes we can do like notifying.
Yeah, that's correct. And the second thing, it's very small, but still it really helps BIM coordinator. Please highlight your critical framing. Doesn't matter colors or separate folders or groups, it doesn't matter, because if you have the huge pack of studs and you can't turn off and turn on what you need, it requires so much time for clash detection and reviewing the clashes. So yeah, it's just very hard to review.
Yeah, that's what I'm proud of our models,
Yeah, I really like your models because everything is so clear, everything divided by colors. You can turn everything on, you can turn everything on if you need anything. You can just remove everything. You can, like, I like your models. Those
Oh,
are
cool.
really, really clear.
I'm proud of that. I have a question. How many framing models have you seen with highlighted critical stats, and which percentage actually there is?
Who have
Yeah,
or who don't
who
have?
have?
Based on my experience, I think 70% highlighting
Mm-hmm.
and 30% not.
Mm-hmm.
And probably 20 of those 30% who are not highlighting, they are not dividing those in a separate folder as well.
Oh,
So
okay.
I
So
mean,
it's just
yeah, if those are in a separate folder, I can at least color it by myself if I need.
mm-hmm.
But if it's easy to find in the folders, and if it has sort of a naming convention or something like that, because on some coordinations we struggled with that critical framing. It was divided, but it didn't have any naming conventions, and it was spread through the different folders, and you just had to turn it off like for 10 times.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's like making a mess in the model.
yeah, making a mess, and you would have spent like the whole day just clearing the framing model.
Oh, I'm sorry for another framers doing that.
That's okay.
Yeah, and another question here. Sometimes I've seen a lot of models what they just miss field installed stat. Is it convenient to work with or not really?
Without field stats, I think yes, that's pretty okay. Never had a big issues if the model was without field stats,
Mm-hmm.
because we are mostly working with a critical framing. We look through headers, through critical stats. So headers, I think, is most important thing, because if you have a lot of systems going above the doors, sometimes it can be a big problem. And also in some complicated places where you need to make very specific opening for the HVAC. But still, field framing is great while highlighting the type of the wall. So I think both will be 100%.
Just highlight critical ones.
Yeah, yeah.
Gotcha. Do you have any other things that drives you crazy?
Just one small thing. It's not about the framer specifically, but about the team generally. If you have any issues or if you have any questions or outstanding items, please reach out to the coordination team. It is very important that you are not waiting till the sign off and till the latest updates we have. If you have some issues with RFIs, or if you see that it may entail a big change, you can definitely reach out, and that would be great, and it will accelerate our coordination in the future.
Yeah, that's actually the point for each team member, I believe. What's a common communication issues between BIM coordinators and framers? Do you want to start with that?
I think most common communication issue between coordination team and framing team, and actually between any other members, it's a huge disconnect between what is going on in the model and between the real conditions. As a BIM coordinator, I work with highly detailed models, I think, regarding coordination. And this disconnect is very important if you have misalignments and if you have something in the model that is not actually representing what is going on in the field. That's why we're using scans sometimes to coordinate with, because design models and as-built models, they really, really do not represent what is going on in reality. And I've noticed this in so many cases, especially when the ceiling heights are different, when the dimensions between the walls are different. And the most extreme case that I had is when the room layout was flipped and it was completely different. And we noticed it when the field guy came on site and just did a couple of photos for us. And we understand that we have a big problems right now because it was close to sign off.
Oh, and you're talking about the models that are already existing, right?
Yeah, mostly. But if you are doing the model like for new construction, It also can be a problem when the framing model, I think, probably have the alignment discrepancy or some rules that are not applicable to this specific site, the specific situations, or if the model is missing something important.
Yeah, that can be done by each trade, I believe.
Yeah, I saw some framing teams just don't add the kickers.
I love kickers.
I know you love kickers. But kickers change a lot of job actually, because this is more important than people can think.
Yeah.
Especially for HVAC guy, because he's crying after people add kickers in the model.
Yeah, actually, the most common clash, I believe, it's when your kickers are just going through the rectangular duct and it has no space to.
I confirm. That's first, I think, by priority and by regularity. Can I say regularity?
Yeah, why not?
All right.
So, if you're a framer, add kickers.
Yes.
If your model doesn't have kickers, you lose.
Show some mercy to an HVAC guy. What about you?
What about me? About some misalignments?
I'm sorry, can I just add? I just noticed that all of my answers on these questions are super similar, because I think the most top of problems is the first misalignments, is miscommunication problems,
Delayed sign off.
late sign off, late notices, no BIM execution plan. And those actually are the main points why BIM coordination goes wrong. That's why my answers are so similar.
You know, I was just thinking about your question, and it's like, I would say the same. So my point, it's like outdated models that are team members not notifying each other. It's like delayed sign off that is like postponed by some reason or something like that.
Right.
Or it's like adding the framing model late on because of they didn't do it before and they need to redo it. Like, yeah, I believe we were discussing it before, and it's like all of the same problems of miscommunication. And the biggest miscommunication, it's like matching the structural model and architectural model.
Oh.
Always like 2 dimensions.
Nice. I can add regarding the delayed sign off. So we have 2 types of sign off. And I hate when that happens, because delayed sign off for me is a big frustration as well, because the first reason is when no one wants to upload the latest updates in the model and we just can't sign it. The second thing, if you use the different services to sign, I don't know, Bluebeam Studio or DocuSign or something else, or different PDF readers, people just ignore the sign off and don't sign. That's why I love when people do the notice, hey, we do the sign off today. You have 48 hours, and if you don't have any comments, we are signing off. I think it's better when you are trying to push everyone to sign, because
yes, it sounds like a really simple thing, but somehow it's not completing a lot of times.
People just don't do signing.
It's too scary. I would not sign something else.
If I got a sign off personally, I would ignore this too. Just a bunch of people are trying to blackmail me to sign some layouts. What?
Yeah, and sometimes it's just your Outlook is bombing with some emails that just, hey, follow up to sign it up.
Sign.
And you just, what a spam. And go to the trash.
Trash can.
So moving to the next
Secrets
question.
of the sign off. Move the sign off form in the trash can.
Sign everything what Maria sends to you.
This is our... Who's that? Our camera guy, or
Say hi.
Say hi. He's doing the most of the work.
He's moving the banana.
Yeah, he's moving the bananas.
Moving to the next question. What's one thing your counterpart could do to make your job easier?
Oh, nice. I have a bunch of things. I think if framers would reference the latest BIM model, that would be great because sometimes they're just not receiving the latest updates or ignoring those. And that's a big problem because construction moves fast and it can be a big pressure on what is going on. And that's why people do on site decisions that are not aligned with the BIM coordination. So, noticing each change, coordination between fields, the model, using the latest updates, and BIM coordinators will be super, super happy.
I would add some point here. It's not an excuse, but sometimes it's really hard to beg for the updated model. We just begging the architect to send us the updated model or the structural team to send us the updated model. They just don't send it.
Actually, that's the BIM coordinator's job. And yeah, I know what are you talking about because reaching out to design team can take so much time.
Yeah.
And the main point and the main thing that is worse is when you have the drawings, but you don't have the design model. And the BIM coordination meeting just runs for 3 hours because you are like back and forth between the model and what is on the drawings and just deleting the items or hiding the items or moving the items just to make sure it matches at least the
Yeah.
the half of what is going on the drawings. Yeah. That's why sometimes we are allowed to do this by ourselves, and before the coordination starts, we're usually clean all of the models, and what is not on the drawings goes to the trash can.
Oh, that's cool. I thought only we are doing that with our framing job, but if you just
Like personally, I do because
Mhm.
it saves so much time for me in the future for the clash detection. Because my first experience just adding what designers sent to us, and then you're noticing that there are a lot of design options exported, that you can't hide a lot of different items that are not represented on the document side as well. It's better to clean everything up, to divide as much as possible for your convenience, and then use it in the model. But if the design model updates frequently, so yeah, it might take a lot of time for that.
Yeah. As for me, it's a few quick steps, like model updates. For example, if the model is updated, just text me, just call me or something else. Like nothing fancy, just quick update. Hey, we're updated or something like that. Like meeting minutes could save me a lot of time when just BIM coordinators send the meeting minutes after and assign the specific clash to the specific person. It's like really easy to understand who is assigned
Meeting
to.
minutes is super important, and especially with adding action items and tagging the people. Tag the people in your meeting minutes, and it will save you a lot of time.
Yeah, and also one more thing I would add, it's like, I don't know, quick communication. For example, sometimes I've seen that probably BIM coordinators or someone doesn't know what to do with the framing clash. I'm open to call me,
Yeah,
actually.
hey.
Like call me, just,
Matt.
yeah, hello. I won't share my number here. Yeah.
That's why it's so hard to reach out for you.
Oops. Yeah, and now I'm expecting the same thing from my side. For example, if I'm calling the BIM coordinator, probably it's something important and it would be great to have those answers. And of course, the thing we've discussed a lot of times today is BIMXP.
BIMXP.
It saves so much time, so a lot of that issues, they
Yeah.
could not even appear.
Actually, there is video on our channel about BIMXP, so you can click right here and make sure you are a pro with BIMXP.
What tools or workflows help improve collaboration between us?
Between us.
Between us.
Hello.
Hi. This table, actually.
Personally, for me, it's very important to have the cloud-based platforms, and I really like that construction uses so much different tools for that, like BIM 360, Procore, doesn't matter. And it really makes the communication between the team members easier, so much easier, because you are definitely using the whole, I don't know, methods of information. You have the drawings, you can make the issues within the drawings, you can reach out and tag the correct people, assign RFIs specifically on the sheet right here. And people can get notifications about something is changed and something is new. Hey, like the transmittals, I like the transmittals on BIM 360. If you uploaded something, you can select needed people and write down, hey, here's the updated design model, please check it, or something like that. Yeah, cloud-based platforms are the most important thing in the BIM coordination and for construction as well.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah, the second thing is regular coordination meetings, and also don't hesitate to use the quick response methods like phone calls or SMS messages. It can really make your life easier reaching out to people.
You know, I would say the same answer for that question, but only one more thing. It's like Revista. It's also cloud-based platform, but it's so cool actually. Lately, I've seen one project that was so well organized in Revista. They were tracking RFIs, they were tracking changes, they were assigning direct clashes to each other. So, for example, for me as a framer, I don't need to reach out to BIM coordinator to say that, hey, this wall should be moved because I don't know, the pipe doesn't fit there. I just can assign those clashes directly to architect if
That's
if I'm
nice.
sure. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I like Revista.
I can say the same thing about Procore. I'm a more Procore guy. The first thing, because it's super easy and user friendly.
Mhm.
You have all of the needed pages, and you can address RFIs. You can address issues directly in the Procore. RFIs as well, drawings as well. You have the folders and you have the drawings. It works pretty similar to what BIM 360 do, but the only thing that BIM 360 collaborates more with Navisworks and yeah, because I do clash detection through Navisworks and BIM issues.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, you can't actually set up a work shard model in Procore.
No,
No,
if I'm not
it's
mistaken,
like
you have the plugin for Navisworks for Procore. It kind of works like BIM issues, but it's not directly connected cloud model in there. So it just tries to connect the issues and documents.
Yeah, I also love Procore though. Can you share an example where strong collaboration solved a big issue?
Yeah, I remember once when we were reviewing the duct penetrations through metal stud walls during one of the BIM coordination meetings. And one of the penetration was so specific and tricky that the one meeting that we scheduled with framing and design team after the coordination saved us a lot of time and money after, because it entailed some design changes, but during that small meeting after, it took us like half of an hour. But with design team and framing team, we just quickly reviewed the options for critical framing and how we can go around the tuck, because obviously it was very hard for a rectangular duct to move in some small places. So yeah, one meeting saved us a lot of money and time, because if we did this as a last thing before the sign off, we should have been done a lot of rework after.
May I ask what happened on that one meeting?
Yes, so we gathered framing team and design team.
Oh,
Yes.
that already sounds cool.
That already sounds cool. Especially because design team is super hard to reach out. Yeah, we had this specific wall that required some attention to it while reworking the critical framing. And the framing team basically just drew some viewpoints and critical framing layout, how to avoid the duct and how to frame it correctly. And at the same time, design team said approved or not. We did the approval, we get the decision, we applied it to the model before the next coordination meeting. It was already done.
Oh.
Yeah. Why we discussed this with the design team as well, because we should have been removed some parts of the wall and we were
I
not
got
sure if we are allowed to do that. So yeah.
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
Real life-saving.
Yeah. You're just sharing the Figma with some screenshots or viewpoints in Navisworks, drawing stuff, and everything gets so much easier and life gets so much easier.
I also have a case here, like, of big problem in framing coordination. Once we were like had a project, like regular one, when we were just moving duct works around back and forth, and it didn't match with our framing at all. So it started like a Tetris with move an inch, break these, or something like that. And it was about, I don't remember how much time it take, but a lot. And once just BIM coordinator said, okay, it just isn't working. So what do we say just to change the entire framing approach? And then with framing engineer, with structural engineer, there was discussed some approach to change the whole like framing system. And the walls were divided into two parts, like bottom panels and top pony wall panels. It's like all of the coordination with ductworks, they were going with only these short pony walls and didn't affect any of those design or framing or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, and it really saves us a lot of time because we were coordinating only top walls. Yeah.
There's so much less work than usual.
Sometimes, but yeah, we were doing the prefabricated panels in those cases.
That's harder.
Yeah, so sometimes it required a little bit more time on the framing job, but it was easier to coordinate between ductworks, plumbing, and framing because you just don't like depend on the architecture stuff in below. Yeah.
Got it.
So next question is, what's the funniest or more bizarre misunderstanding you've had on a project?
Oh, I like funny things. The funniest things is when glitches happens, because in that situation, this is exactly what happened. So it was about clash between plumbing and HVAC. They were just having an elevation hit, and we were assigning those clashes to one discipline, but for some reason, the issue duplicated and assigned for both disciplines. So the same issue was assigned to HVAC guy, and it was assigned on plumbing guy as well. Just a quick introduction. In Navisworks, when you are doing the viewpoints, it creates the location and viewport for that location with markups. And if something changes, the viewpoint stays the same, so the location of viewpoint stays the same. But you see how things are moving around. That was so funny because of that situation. I opened the viewpoint with that issue, and it creates, like, it shows the circle when the clash was. And I see that nothing specific in this circle, so I assumed that the clash was resolved. But I moved higher, and I see that the same clash, but it's like 3 feet above my viewpoint. I didn't realize that it was because of the duplicating issues, so we noticed it on the BIM coordination meeting during the discussion, because I was just asking what happened here. Like, guys, why you both moved above? Then we just noticed that we had a bunch of issues copied in some different folders.
In this case, I'm already imagining like one same clash assigned to different teams, and for example, this is a duct and this is a pipe.
Yes.
Pipe moves, duct moves.
That's correct. That's exactly how that happened.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's funny.
And HVAC guy was so frustrated because he went like, what?
I already
He was
fixed that.
sure. Yeah, he was sure that he fixed the clash, and he fixed the clash. But plumbing
fix the clash
Fix it as
also.
well. Yeah.
From my side, I think I have two cases here, and one of them it was when we were coordinating with design model. It's like, yeah, we had the project.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, it was design model of ductworks of HVAC, and we were coordinating with it. And once we had a coordination team just to help us coordinate it and highlight all of the clashes. And they just gave us that model with viewpoints, and we're just, I don't see anything here. So I see the viewpoint, I don't see a clash. And a lot of that. I saw first, I thought it's like a mistake, and we just uploaded our model, and that's it. And then coordinator just called me, and why didn't you fix all of the clashes? And I'm just, what clashes? I didn't see any. And he just sent me that model over, and I still see these viewpoints without any clashes, and I'm just call him back, and there is no clashes here. And he just showed me the model he is coordinating with, and I'm just, it's design model.
You know, that's when you were trying to share the CAD file through email or something like that, and the CAD file don't have any external references because all of the links are somewhere like else, somewhere on people's computers. And yeah, you just have a half empty CAD file, and people are trying to ask you to do something with it, but you just can't because you don't have the links.
Yeah, that's right. So it was like really interesting thing. And another one, it's like, it was actually it was definitely our like misalignment when we exported the model without a door in one of the rooms. It was a situation where we had the room without any entrance, and first we were sitting and coordinating meeting, and I see, oh my god, is it
a shaft?
room without door or something? And I was just thinking, design team didn't put the door here, and then I checked the model and I saw design team put the door here. We didn't.
Oh,
So yeah, we missed one of the door, and it was the mistake we don't do anymore. Actually, you know, I always make a QC checkbox where checking all of the doors.
the same for issues, because if you miss something important during the clash detection, you will get so much problems. And that's why I try to make the checklist as well, because at the start I had some missing issues, especially if the footing are not showing somewhere, but you actually have the underground pipes through the footings. That's a big problem for a site. So yeah, checkboxes are great.
Checkboxes. And we also created video about QA and QC.
Yes.
Right there.
Make sure to make the correct quality control process.
Please check doors.
Check doors.
If you could switch roles for a day, what's the first thing you'd do?
Oh, I think I would really love to be a framer, because it's such a great view from a different perspective for me as a BIM coordinator. And I would really love to face the challenges of how the decisions are making, especially on the field. So I would definitely go to the field and work through the whole installation process. And I would really love to see how the framing team connects, like just it connects the field and digital world. That's very important for me, because as a BIM coordinator, I work mostly with the digital world, and framing team are on both sides. So yeah, I would really love to see how the things and decisions are making on the field.
Yeah, and imagine you're making some of that decisions.
Yeah, that would be actually a great experience for me.
Yeah, as for me, you know, first thing I would do, it's like open the Navisworks and see how many clashes are still there from 3 weeks ago. You know, I swear some of them are just leave there. And also, of course, one more thing, it's like I would test my skills and try to sit on those 2 hours coordination meetings, you know? It's like, how long can I sit there without zoning out? I would test that.
Life hack: if coordination meeting is 2 hours, that's bad coordination meeting.
Yeah.
Usually 1 hour is enough to review all of the outstanding items, especially if the coordination meetings are 2 times a week.
Yeah.
Like through 3 days and nothing specific happened actually.
Yeah, and so sometimes it's like, I think it would be great to test how long can we speak about the same clash. My guess, at least 35 minutes.
40 minutes, my record.
Oh.
My record attending the
You
coordination meeting.
bet me. Yeah, and you know what? What else? If I have time left, I test the true power of field coordination stamp, you know? It's like, what can't I push to the field? Probably I would mark the entire building like field coordination and just see what happens.
Usually, field coordination items are not such a big problem if the clash requires like one side responsibility. So, if fire protection guy, for example, sees this something is wrong with their connections and or their hangers, and it's not involving any other team members, that's great because it accelerates the sign-off process. But if you have like the cluster of something going on strange and hard design issues, if everyone puts the field coordinated, you will be just lost on site.
Yeah. But honestly, if I were a coordinator for one day, I'd probably just call you and ask what you do.
What should I do? Hey man,
What should I do?
there are 250 issues. What should I do with those?
Yeah, just because everything you said today, I just feel it's saving for every problems we have. So yeah, just this BIM work shared spaces or BIM XP, great BIM XP, that is great. If you're a BIM coordinator, just ask Maria how she does it.
I'm just trying to be everywhere.
That's cool.
Yeah, people noticing me everywhere. I put my comments on issues, I put my comments on drawings, I put my comments on issue logs, I put my comments in my emails, and there's like 40 people in the copy.
Cool, you put your comments everywhere. Will you put
Yes.
this your comment on this video? Like BIM coordinator comments?
I think the main comment that I would put on this video is you guys should write your comments down below if you have any questions. And press the like button below and subscribe to our channel to make sure you are a VDC Pro
And Framing Pro.
and Framing Pro.
All right, I think that's a wrap for today.
That was the last question.
I think we've covered a lot of BIM issues today.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, coordination things between framers and VDCs. So
we already did the great collaborative job because we met here.
Yep.
And we can consider this as a coordination meeting.
Oh, cool.
Right?
Isn't it 2 hours?
Never mind. It's just with framers.
Oh, yeah, like always.
We resolved all the issues in advance by sharing our experience. So
thank you for this conversation today.
Thank you, Lada.
All right, so if you have any horror story from BIM coordination or any insights you'd share with us, just drop them in the comments. We'd love to hear it from you.
And from my personal perspective, I would like to say any other examples of great or horror coordination meetings that you've experienced and share those in the comments as well. All right, Lada.
Meet you in the office tomorrow.
See you in the office.